Hello, welcome to Biology for You. In this video, we are going to have TI plasmid. So, in this series of videos, we have been discussing different processes in genetic engineering. As a part of different vector systems, here we are going to discuss this TI plasmid. Basically, this TI plasmid is a natural genetic engineer. That means because of the presence of this TI plasmid, the respective bacteria would able to cause this genetic recombination in the plant that got infected with this very bacterium. So in this video we are going to have only the basic idea of the TI plasmid. That means what exactly the TI plasmid is and why it is important, and what are the components present on the TI plasmid, and followed by their functions. That means what are the different genes present on the TI plasmid that are responsible for this very agrobacterial infection that leads to disease called crown gall disease. So coming to the first point, what exactly is the TI plasmid is? So basically, as the name indicates, it's a plasmid. That means it is an extra chromosomal DNA that present on the It is an extra chromosomal DNA which is covalently closed circular, and it is having self-replicating ability. That means it will not depend on the main chromosome in the bacteria for its replication. It has its own replicative machinery. And also this TI plasmid is also called as megaplasmid. That means the size of the TI plasmid is very big, that is nearly 200 kilobaspheres, and due to the presence of this TI plasmid in the agrobacterium species like agrobacterium tumefacius and agrobacterium rhizogenesis. These are the two bacteria very well reported with this TI plasmid, and because of the presence of TI plasmid in the agrobacterial species, they are able to cause tumors inside the plant cells. So because of the presence of TI plasmid is only this tumor induction ability that happens with the bacteria. So these TI plasmid basically have portion of DNA which can be inserted inside the plant genome and modify the plant genome or regulate the plant genome to produce its own hormones, so that the plant will go for uncontrolled proliferation, and that leads to the tumor formation. Basically, there are two diseases. Because of this agrobacterium tumefacius infection, it causes disease called crown gall disease, and due to the rhizogenesis, agrobacterium rhizogenesis, the plant will get disease called rooty hair disease. So this agrobacterium is having TI plasmid which causes tumor induction in the plants that got infected with the bacteria. So that is the special character about the TI plasmid. And also because of the once after this tumor induction, for this tumor induction, so during the process of this tumor induction, the part of this TI plasmid will be inserted inside the plant genome, and this recombinant plant genome will start producing more plant growth promoting hormones like auxins, cytokinins and all. So the plant will go more proliferations, and that will leads to the tumors like crown gall or rooty hair disease. So that's all the basic idea of TI plasmid. So let us discuss what are the genes present on the TI plasmid that causes this tumor induction, and also how it will helps the TI plasmid to form this agrobacterial infection. So coming to that point, there are many genes. There is a very large operon system inside the TI plasmid, and also there are at least 3 reasons that are essential, that are, one is origin of replication. That means this origin of replication is the region where the replication of plasmid, any plasmid, would start. So for TI plasmid, also there will be an origin of replication from where the replication of this plasmid initiates. Followed by, there will be region called vir region or virulence region. So because of this vir region, this vir region is having many genes. There is a large set of operon, and due to the presence of many genes inside the vir region, these genes are responsible for the agrobacterial infection. And the other important region is tDNA region. So this is the responsible part for this recombination. That means this is the part which will be cleaved and that will be inserted inside the plant. But inside the tDNA, there will not be genes responsible for its transfer. It's this tDNA transfer, that responsibility will be carried by this vir region. That means vir region having the genes which are able to transfer this tDNA inside the plant cell. So let us discuss more detail. So coming to the first part, tDNA. So this tDNA, as we already discussed, is having the ability to cause disease and tumor induction inside the plant cell, and this is the responsible region for the insertion into the plant genome. That means this tDNA will be cleaved and it will be going and inserting into the plant genome. So tDNA having one left border, one right border, and followed by the main genes present in the tDNA region are responsible for the synthesis of cytokinins, followed by auxins. And also there is a region which is responsible for the synthesis of opines. So these are the main parts present in the tDNA region. That means this left and right borders are small sequences. There are only 24 base pairs regions, and this is the right place where the cleavage will happen. So towards the left border and right border, so these two regions, the cleavage will happen and the tDNA will be taken away and that will be inserted inside the plant. So coming to the next gene, that is cytokine synthesis. So this cytokinin synthesis and auxin synthesis genes are responsible for the production of cytokinins and auxins. These two phytohormones are responsible for the proliferation in the plant cells. That means due to the overproduction of these phytohormones, plants will replicate and multiply into number of plants daughter cells, and that uncontrolled proliferation will lead to the plant tumor. Let it be a rooty hair disease or maybe a crown gall. In both of the cases, the uncontrolled proliferation or the tumor will happen because of the cytokinin and auxin overproduction. So coming to the opine synthesis, these opines are basically carbon containing compounds, and this is the main carbon source for the bacteria. So these are the basic genes present in the tDNA region. This region will be going and inserting inside the plant genome, and it will induce the tumor production. But for the transfer, this transfer will happen only due to the presence of genes present inside the virulence region. So let us discuss how this tDNA will go and insert inside the plant cell. So here we are going to discuss about Vir region. Basically, this Vir region or virulence region, as we already discussed, this virulence region is only responsible for the infection. That means it is responsible for the tDNA separation, tDNA transfer followed by insertion, and inside the once after it inserted inside the plant genome, the tDNA show its effects. That means tumor induction. So for that, first we need to understand how all signal transduction will happen. That means how this bacteria able to sense the presence of plant and how it will go to plant towards the plant, and how the tDNA cutting will be happen, how it will go, and in how it will come out of the bacteria, and how it will go inside the plant tissues, and how the tDNA go inserted into the plant genome. So that is the whole process of infection. Generally, plant root system will release certain compounds, phenolic compounds. So let us consider it as a plant root system, and here is a wound. So maybe because of the mechanical reasons there is a wound present on the plant. So due to that cut or opening, the plant releases its phenolic compounds like acetosyringin, and there are many other compounds like acetovanillin, seringaldehyde, many other phenolic compounds, but mostly reported this acetosyringin. So this is the mostly reported phenolic compound during the agrobacterial infection. So this acetosyringin will be released from the wound of the plant root. So this will go, and this acetosyringin is the signal for the bacterial cell. That means this bacterial cell will have receptors on its surface which will be bounded with this acetosyringin. So once after these receptors got bind with this ligand, the signal will transduce. That means inside the bacterial cell, so it is an agrobacterium. So inside the bacterial cell, this is the bacterial genome and this is the TI plasmid. So the signal will be carried towards the TI plasmid. So on the TI plasmid, this tDNA will be cut, and the cleaved tDNA will be coming out of the bacterial cell. Then it will go and bind with the plant root system, and it will go and inserted into the plant tissue, and inside the plant cortex it will cause infection, and cortex cells will be induced for uncontrolled proliferation or tumor induction. So there will be gall formation, that means a tumor formation. So that is the simplified process. But what are the genes responsible for it? That means how these receptors will be produced, and how these tDNA will be separated. So for that we need to know what are the genes present in the TI region. So for total understanding, we need to discuss functions of the TI gene, functions of the Vir genes. So there are many genes, Vir A, Vir G, Vir D1, D2, D4, Vir C1, C2, Vir E1, E2, Vir F, here I'll write Vir B, okay, Vir B1 to B11, there are many genes, and Vir F, Vir H, these are the genes most possibly present on the Vir region. So this Vir A is basically a receptor gene. That means this Vir A gene is responsible for the production of receptor that will be inserted inside the transmembrane protein, that will be inserted inside the membrane region of this Agrobacterium tumefaciens. That means this is a transmembrane protein, and this Vir A gene is basically a two-component receptor system, and towards the external surface there will be only ligand binding site, and inside this is transmembrane region, and inside it is coupled with the response regulator. So this is the signal, that is acetosyringene. So this acetosyringene ligand will go and bind with the receptor, that is the product of Vir A gene. So it will be going and binding with this Vir A product, that is receptor, and as I already told, this is the two component system, and once after receptor binding to the ligand, it will be activated by phosphorylation. So once it is autophosphorylated, so this autophosphorylation will be happen inside the receptor. So once after autophosphorylation, which activates the receptor, this receptor able to phosphorylate the response regulator, which is towards this internal region of the receptor. So this response regulator is nothing but Vir E G product. So this Vir A product is a receptor to which this acetosyringene will bind, and Vir G product is a response regulator So this Vir G product is basically a transcription factor. It will be phosphorylated by the Vir receptor, and phosphorylator Vir G is activated, and it will be separated, and it will go inside the TI plasmid, and it regulates the genes present in the TI plasmid, and it activates the several genes. All these genes present in the TI plasmid, which are responsible for the agrobacterial infection. So once after the agrobacteria got information that there is a plant OD, that means it senses the presence of plant, it will go by chemotaxis, and it will go and bind with the plant root system. So once after receptor bind with this ligand, that is acetosyringene, it will be activated and it will be phosphorylated, and it phosphorylates the response regulator, that is the product of Vir G, that is nothing but a transcriptional factor which activates the remaining set of genes. So how this receptor and response regulator is produced. That means these are actually housekeeping genes. That means they'll be present at minimal level at least throughout the life cycle of the bacteria. But these genes, the remaining genes, are inducible genes. Inducible genes, that means they will be activated and produced only after the activation. That means the Vir gene, which is transcriptional factor, which will activate these inducible genes, production of these remaining genes. So coming to the individual Vir T genes, Vir D1. D1 is basically a topoisomerase. It detects the left border, left and right borders. So this left and right borders, as we already discussed, is responsible reasons for the cleavage. That means this D1 Vir D1 product, Vir D1 gene responsible for the production of a topoisomerase, that is Vir D1 protein, which will detect the left and right borders, and it influences the binding or of the D2 with the left border. That means this D2 is here, acts as a endonuclease. So it will cleave the tDNA portion at right and left borders. So this D1 is a topoisomerase which detects the tDNA borders, and it allows the D2 to interact with the borders, and D2 is here an endonuclease which cleaves the borders, and D4 is basically D4 gene basically is a energy giving component of the system. That means it is an ATP producer. So it donates the ATP to the system to have this cleavage happen and topoisomerase thing happen. So coming to the Vir C1 and C2, this C1 is basically a helicase. The activity of C1 is to separate the single-stranded DNA from this portion. That means once after this cleavage happened, the single-stranded form, this tDNA need to be separated. So it will come out in the single-stranded form. So further, this single-stranded tDNA will be formed due to the product of C1 gene. Coming to the C2 gene, it binds with the D2 and D4 gene products. So this C2 gene is responsible for the binding of it increases the affinity of D1 and D4 towards this tDNA. Coming to the C1, it's a helicase and it increases the affinity of ssDNA formation. So these are the virulence genes till C2. Coming to the remaining genes, this E1 and E2, these are basically E1 gene is basically a SSB protein, that means single stranded binding protein. As C1 helps the tDNA to be separated in the single stranded form, this E1 will go and bind with this single stranded form of tDNA. So it protects basically this single stranded DNA from exonucleases, endonucleases and all. And also coming back to the D2, which is an endonuclease, as we already discussed, it also bind with the left border and right border, and it protects the borders as well. So E1 and D2 segments These two genes are responsible for the protection of the single-stranded tDNA. So basically, inside the cytoplasm, there are exonucleases, endonucleases, generally scattered all over, and even inside the plant, we can find these nucleases. So, in order to protect this tDNA from these nucleases, these SSB proteins will bind all over the tDNA, and D2 especially protects the borders. Coming to the remaining genes, B1 to 11, these are the genes responsible for the production of proteins which makes the transfer channel. That means from agrobacterium to the plant cell, the DNA need to be transferred. That means there must be a pipeline or the transferring channel which will be formed by the B1 to B11 genes. So products of this B1 to B11 genes. So basically there are 1 to 11 proteins, 11 types of proteins, but majorly B7, B8, B9, B10 are responsible for this production of this transferring mechanism. So it forms a channel, protein channel, through which this tDNA will be transferred from agrobacterium to the plant cell. So coming to the remaining genes, this F gene is responsible. Basically, the functions of F and H genes are not very well discovered, and these two maybe increases the efficiency of tDNAs, and they may also be involved in the transfer of tDNA from agrobacterium to plant cell. And coming to the inside plant cell, the main chromosome will be present. That means the genomic DNA of the plant, and this tDNA portion, very small DNA, single stranded tDNA, will find the right portion, and it will go and combine with the with this plant genome, that is a recombination, natural recombination, hence it is called as natural genetic engineer, and it will find the right place and it will go and bind with the plant genome based on the recombination. So that will be responsible for the agrobacterial infection because of the presence of tumor causing genes present on the tDNA. It will cause uncontrolled proliferation followed by the tumor. So basically how the recombination will happen, that is the, and followed by how this tDNA will be entering inside the nucleus. So that is the another point, because inside the plant cell we already discussed as where B proteins will form a channel through which this tDNA can be transferred from agrobacterium to the plant cell, but it need to cross the nucleus as well in order to insert it into the plant genome. So in order to cross the nucleus, it need to have some sequences called nuclear localizing sequences or NLS. So these nuclear localizing sequences will be present, signals will be present on the D2 product of D2 gene and also E2. Where is it? So this SSB proteins which bind all over the tDNA, and also this D2 protein which protects the borders, both are also responsible for the insertion inside the nucleus. So these two genes which are E1 and D2 also have nuclear localizing signals. That means a small sequence present on this ssTDNA which is responsible for the insertion of this very tDNA inside the nucleus of the plant cell. So inside the nucleus this recombination event will happen, and once after this the tDNA will be inserted inside the plant cell, and it start producing its own gene products that are auxins and cytokinins, and these two phytohormones will induce the plant cell to multiply, and that will lead to the tumor. So that is how the TI plasmid will be responsible for the formation of tumors. So basically this TI plasmid is having three regions: Vir region, origin of replication, and tDNA. This Vir region is having many genes responsible for the agrobacterial infection, that means the insertion of tDNA inside the plant cell, and tDNA is responsible for the tumor induction, and Ori gene is responsible for the origin of replication. And basically this TI plasmid, as we already discussed, has the ability to insert itself into the plant genome. We can there are vectors derived based on this TI plasmid. So there are two kinds of vectors designed based on this TI plasmid: co-integrative vector systems and binary vectors. So that is going to be discussed in the further video.